Hi guys, this is Crossy of Eclipse Gaming TV and welcome to the pilot episode of Crossy Commentates CSGO as we test out a few settings, make sure that everything is running about as well as I can get it, check out the quality, that kind of thing. And also it gives me one opportunity to try and shake off the rust of my commentary skills, which always end up sitting for months on end completely unused until I have the inspiration to get something like this going. So we're going to be squaring off in Clan Strike Global Offensive. We're going to be watching the Esports European Cup as we see my beloved nation, the United Kingdom, take on Sweden on Dust 2. And I don't think this is going to be a particularly close game on balance, since the Swedish team is basically ninjas in pyjamas with a couple of other players just to balance things up against a UK team who have got some strong individual players and some very experienced players as well, you have to say, but that doesn't always count for a lot when you're taking on some of the best players in Europe. And we are already underway on this one. This is live as we go for a quick rundown through the rosters. We've got Freiburg, Delpan, Fiffler and Exist and Pith squaring off for Sweden. For Team GB we've got Rattlesnake, Hudge, Weber, Husey and Mole. So a couple of players in there, vastly experienced, been around a long time. And in Weber we've got one of the... I say one of the younger players, one of the up-and-coming players, but he's been around for a good couple of years now as well as one of those players to watch out for. So, yeah, plenty of experience kicking around in this lineup. I'm also going to try, as we are testing things out, see how Auto Director performs from demos, which is where I'm going to be watching some of the action from. You see Team UK squaring off on Terra's side first of all. And with about 40 seconds to go, we are going to see this commitment onto short. Pith straight away grabs Rattlesnake with a single bullet, nailing one. Exist grabs the bomb as Weber tries to push through and work some kind of split. But with Exist, Delpan and Freiburg picking up a frag. That is going to be first round on the board for Sweden. And far too comfortable there, I would say, for the Swedes. I got that opening pick, Rattlesnake, going down with Pith. Great control with his P2000. Long debate about how good the P2000 is in comparison to the Glock, but if you find someone's face with it, it doesn't matter all that much. First blood going to the Swedish lineup. Mole in mid trying to make something happen, spamming through, but he's taking down the half HP and does very little damage if at all. Delpan spraying through the door, gets one, gets a second as he grabs Husey, who's still messing around in T-spawn, trying to hold that angle, making sure no one pushes through. Hutchkin and Weber with a frag apiece, but Pith and Exist mop up. So I guess you could say nice work from Team UK, managed to take down a couple of the Swedish guns, but that's about the only small positive that you can get out of this. Freiburg with his case hardened karambit. Notice that a lot of these guys have got the flashy weapons and they're nice looking knives. Fair play to them. Squaring off for Sweden, we've got Freiburg, Fiffler and then Exist, all of ninjas in pyjamas, one of, if not the strongest team in Europe. And we are seeing some good action here from Team GB. They've managed to get themselves into the B site, so it's going to take a good retake here. Delpan stuck with a pistol upgrade, and that's it. And he's found very quickly by Rattlesnake. It is going to be a 1 versus 4, so let's get on board with Exist then, see what he can do in this situation. Probably just going to save that M4 if he can. Grabs Rattlesnake, getting a bit too aggressive, and Weber, both of them pushing out of the site and going for that last frag, and it's quite costly for them. They are going to pick up the round, but they would have liked to have kept some weapons there if they could. A little bit of, I can't really say inexperience, is simply, we're dealing with a mixed team here. For something like this when countries come together. And Exist manages to pick up another, so 3 entry frags for him. About as good as it's going to get for Sweden, and that's going to be fairly costly for the financial situation for Team GB, who are on a buy, but for those guys that have had to grab guns, they haven't got much left in the bank afterwards. On board with Exist here. He could have a bit of action going in the long area. Is flashed and drops into the pit. He's got Pith there for a backup, who's going to stick in the long area. Huds G grabs Fifth Laren in the mid area, and he tries to push through for a mid to B. Exist does get Huds G, but he's tagged down to very low HP, so only about 15-20 left to play with. And that's opened up the B area. Rattlesnake, nice control of that AK, grabs Freiberg and rips his face off as he tries to step through the door. And again, we're going to see a plant here in the B site. It's worked successfully for them. It's picked them up around before, and with 2.5 players standing, I say that as Exist is down to such low HP, it's going to be down to this retake. Can they make something happen? Exist grabs Mole straight away. That's Orp in hand of Delpan as he tries to work something from the window. Rattlesnake grabs Exist from the door, but he can't look in all directions. Pith jumps at the window, perfectly timed. Tries to make the frag from cars and does eventually. And with all players dropped down by Sweden. Great little retake there. It does become 3-1. I think you can tell things weren't quite perfect with that setup into B. As even though Rattlesnake was able to step round from his position here and stop the player coming in the doors, he was straight away grabbed by Pith, who jumped in at the window. So perfectly timed push by the Swedes, but they needed to make sure when they were holding that site that window area was covered. And that wasn't the case. Delpan grabs Rattlesnake, so a nice tasty little pick there, and that's the bomb down in mid-doors. They'll try and lock that down as best they can. Delpan with the AWP is going to try and hold it. It gets Mole, and that's the bomb down. Freiberg grabs Weber and also gets Husey. And Husey with a pistol did manage to get Delpan, and that's an AWP down, which will, I'm sure, get picked up. Last man standing, Huds G. What can he do here in this situation? Got himself an M4, and that is absolutely nothing. So, UK showed good potential. They got into that B site, which they've done successfully on 2 occasions now. Didn't hold down that retake and were forced into an eco, which involved that push mid that we just saw there. 4-1 to the Swedes. Looking fairly solid, I have to say, on this terrace side. Action down long doors. Fifth Laren throws a nade in there. I don't think he's going to get a repeat. They've learnt their lesson. Now, really, if you're on T side, you've got one stab to try and get that pick from the corner. And if you don't make that, you've just got to get yourself out of dodge and try and work something else. Maybe delay it. Delpan got action in mid. He's not tagged down by too much, but he did miss his shot by quite a long way and has to drop back onto the ramp. Freiberg got some action in lower. Got dinked, but he's only taken down to 9 HP. Must have been hit through the pillar or something like that. You do wonder, if you nail someone square in the face, how you don't do more damage on this game sometime. And Freiberg takes full advantage of that, picking up a couple of frags in lower. He's got chance for a third potentially, and he gets it. That's Rattlesnake going down, and the bomb dropped in the lower area. So Freiberg trying to beast it. Spraying down with that M4, and by some miracle manages to pick up a frag. He goes for his 5th, doesn't manage to get it though, as he's grabbed by Husey up at the top of mid, trying to make something happen from where the tree used to be. But with 3 Swedish players barrelling towards you, it's always going to be a tough ask, and it is 5-1 brought up. Pistols in hand then for Team GB. Going to want to try and pull something with an eco here. Split and pick in. Huds G tries to nail Fifth Laren, who was caught with nade in hand. So caught a little unawares, and he's taken down to very low HP. They'll be wanting to try and make that pick if they can, and they do as Rattlesnake pushes through. But Pith in the pit gets 2, and Exist comes down to back up as well. He's got action from short, firing off those bursts, and Exist with a couple of frags, finishing things off for the Swedish team, and they are looking in a very comfortable 6-1 on the arguably easier CT side. Dust2 plays in a number of ways. It used to be heavily CT-sided way back when I started playing it in 2005. As players started to get more aggressive on Terra's side and got better at making picks, it has switched the other way. And with the Glock balances, it's sometimes a lot easier to pick up those opening rounds on T side. But by the same token, you can set up your crossfires properly and play it the right way as a team. With the right calls and early rotations, you can again do a job on CT side, as we're seeing from the Swedes here. If you work together properly as a retake and use your flashes, you can get in somewhere like B, which is the easier to get into, you could argue, if you play it the right way. Flashes off the wall and to the back of sight. From your push in, you can get aggressively in there, but then you've got to deal with the rotate in, make sure that you're protecting your angles from the window, from the tunnels, from the door. And of course the flashes that get you into the site can so easily get the CTs into the site to retake as well, so you've got that to bear in mind. And really just got to make sure that you're keeping hold of those angles. One player has gone down, that's Mole, and Pith takes down Huds G as well, as he tries to get a little aggressive here in the long doors area, spamming through. Hughesy grabs Fiffler and at the other side of the map. Freiburg firing straight in, and he gets a knife on Rattlesnake. I'm gutted I missed that one. Exist manages to take down Weber. I don't even know where that was from. That must have been Long. Yeah, he's still there. And Hughesy gets the call, realises he's in trouble, crouches behind the box, but still leads himself into a line of sight. And that was far, far too comfortable. 7-1 for the Swedes now. Check out the finances for Team GB. They are on a full AK buy, but if they don't pick up this one, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. One thing I do like on the CSGO economy is that you do pick up more if you lose rounds on the spin, so GB will be looking to keep buying these AKs and should be able to. Exist gets a couple, just got bottlenecked in those long doors, have Team UK. And Freiburg comes in, grabs Rattlesnake, who did manage to get onto the site, and we have got a plant, so they are going to pick up the $800 there. Pith trying to burst and find the face of Huds G. He seemed to be in much better shape with the AK though, and he's got another one here, so it is now 1v1. Delpan going for it aggressively. He must have been called that his opponent's on low HP, goes in with a pistol rather than hanging back with the AWP, grabbing Huds G from that area at Goose and gets himself the defuse. So nice work from Delpan. We haven't really looked at the frag charts, so we will now. Exist leading the way on 16. He's been there or thereabouts and picking up players on rotates. Freiburg with 11 frags to his name. Did have a 4-man a couple of rounds ago from his push through into tunnels. Pith and Delpan getting involved, and Fifth Laren, the NIP AWPer, kept very quiet so far on 1 and 6. Host Mole has yet to pick up a frag for Team GB, as Huds G grabs Fifth Laren down there in the lower area, so his troubles are compounded. Mole gets his opening frag as he gets Freiburg getting aggressive, pushing through the tunnels. Delpan trying to fire back, and Exist grabs Weber from behind there at the mid area, so a little unexpected. Wasn't thinking he'd see a player there. Exist and Pith get a frag each, and Exist makes that far too easy. Top of mid, grabbing Mole. He was holding the bomb from there, and it very quickly becomes 9-1. Exist is just floating around the map, rotating nicely and just catching players unawares and backing up and offering crossfire where it's needed. He just seems to be everywhere. He's got this sixth sense. Pith got action here, and again he's looking solid and long as he grabs Weber trying to push through. Hughesy does get a frag. Huds G trying to work something with his AWP in mid doors, but it's just too easy for Sweden to mop up that. Again, more action mid doors. Freiburg gets Hughesy as he tries to push through. Looks a little short on ideas there. Didn't have a flash he could throw in, so he is taken down. And it's all down to Mole that's got on board with him. Only got one solitary frag to his name after 10 rounds of Counter-Strike. And make that his second, so he's doubled his tally, grabbing Pith, who Tried to push through into long doors. I don't think he really knew where Mole was as such. Maybe that he'd been around the long area, gone back to mid, was trying to work something there, so he'd gone to try and push in behind, which Exist does, and grabs it. So 10-1. Exist, after 11 rounds, racks up his 20 bomb. It's been the standout player. No one you can really write home about for Team GB. Hudsg on 7, Husey on 8. Although I think I might have already alluded to it, several of Husey's frags have been when he's been last man standing or just mopping up from aggressive players. So not too many of those 8 frags have been really vital in helping UK work anything. And they have made their way into B. It looks like they will get the chance for a bomb plant, and it is 3 versus 2, although Miles on very low HP. So flashes go out the site. Bomb is dropped. Rattlesnake did drop the bomb for Hudsg to plant it, but he's instead deciding to jump to the window and make a pick instead. All down to Fifth Laren then. Been fairly quiet so far. 4 assists to his name, but only 2 frags. And nice work. He ghosts out from the smoke. Grabs Hudsg at the back of the site, knowing his angles well. Got action at the back, and he's tagged Rattlesnake down to about 60 HP. Hasn't seen Mole at all. Pushes up to the site, and it's Mole at the car that picks up that frag. So UK put their second round on the board. It is 10-2. You know, it's the difference between these top players and people that play occasionally like I do for a bit of fun, is these guys really know their angles. They come out and almost look like they're pre-firing the spots and sort of knowing exactly where the players are going to be. And I mean, these maps aren't massive, the ones that are played in CSGO. There's only a finite number of positions that you can be in, and you can rule out some of those because they just don't aid your team. You're either baiting your teammates out, you're not covering the areas you want to be looking at, or they're just out of this world ridiculous positions that you can sometimes get lucky with. Not too often. Fifth Laren pushes through and manages to grab Rattlesnake as he tries to make his way up onto short. We are 3 versus 3 here though. Pith pushing through and just manages to get Weber. Weber had that split second advantage there to get his shots off, but Pith still comes out on top there. Was only taken down to about half HP. Fifth Laren this time coming in behind long doors from the T area. Mops up 2. And that is going to be the 11th round for this Swedish team. Looking far too dominant. Exist has been keeping quiet over these last couple of rounds. Hasn't added to his 20 frags over the last 2. But his work is done, and it's time for his teammates to start chipping in as well. Fifth Laren starting to warm up a little bit. Hudsg taking a bit of a lead on the frag charts for Team GB. Looking semi-respectable with his 12, but he needs his teammates to back up as Fifth Laren is really warming up now. He's got 2 before he's taken down by Husey. Starting to learn here that Auto Director is probably not the way to go from demos. At least it does work a little better for live action. This as Exist grabs Rattlesnake, and this is something they haven't managed to iron out clearly, as Freiburg grabs Husey. Last man standing is Weber, who's cut down, and it is 12-2. Need to get back into the habits of showing you guys the scoreboard after every round. No apologies for that, I haven't been doing it. All things need to polish up as Fifth Laren pushes through. Going to have some action here potentially. No, we're not, as Husey grabs Fifth Laren. Tried to get aggressive down there in the lower area, and fair enough, if you're 12-2 up on CT side, Dust 2, you may as well try these things once in a while. Little something for the spectators. Mole gets Delpan. Pith mopping up and grabbing Mole, who has already brought down to low HP. Husey as well is felled by Pith. He seems to like collecting his frags in bunches. To 2 players left for Team UK. Hudsg and FM Toxic's Weber. Managed to get that bomb plant in the B site, but can they lock it down? Weber in the tunnels has got 2 angles he's got to watch, and he's flashed and taken down by Exist. Nicely played there. just a little bit too tough. Too many angles to cover as Huds G tries to do something from the back and picks up 2 shots with the Deagle, proving that the gun isn't as useless as everyone thinks it is. But it isn't enough as Exist moves in, picks up the defuse and takes it to 13-2. So it is 16 rounds is the all-important, so 3 more for Sweden will get them the victory here for those of you that have trouble with counting. I know it's the curse of the shoutcaster. Us commentators aren't always the best at this sort of thing. Simple maths and counting the 30 is a lot more difficult than you would expect it is sometimes. Sweden are going to be no doubt wanting to use the advantage of the Glocks here over the starting pistols. Got a mix of P2000s and USPs. And we are seeing a full push into B. Mole gets one. Fiflaren grabs him at the back of the site though. And Exist and Freiburg picking up frags on Huds G and Weber before they've even got the bomb planted. And it is down to Husey. What can he do? Last man standing. Making his way into tunnels. He's got to go for this. Vital round. If he doesn't, which I don't think he is, as he's in a bit of a battle before Freiburg comes in to help out and offer the crossfire. It is going to be fast guns or AKs taking on pistols. So Team GB have a very tough ask. They're going to have to just eco this one and let it go to the draw and try and play for it, try and buy up as best they can. Delpan drops out due to no steam logger, so this could be the advantage that Team GB will need. A little bit surprised I haven't seen them go for an aggressive play, and instead they're going to get picked off as Exist grabs Weber straight away and Pith grabs Rattlesnake as well. This time going towards the A site, and they seem to be taking it as comfortably as they did B as Pith jumps down and picks up his 3rd frag of the round. Freiburg mops up with... Is that his 2nd? I think it might well have been his 2nd. Call for a pause here. But I think at 15-2, the Swedes are going to be quite happy just to close this one out. We aren't seeing that pause. They're going to try and firm it 4 versus 5. As Delpan gets himself back into the game. Rattlesnake picks up the scout, trying to make something happen with that. Pith gets 2 again, collecting frags in packs. As he gets Mole and Weber in the mid area where they push through. Got to get aggressive though. All important rounds. Weapons aren't where they'd want them to be. Exist and Fiflaren with frags though, so it is all down to Huds G. Scout in hand. Pith grabs him.